The following is an exclusive presentation of the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the AHSAA Radio Network.
Hello everybody and welcome into another exciting edition of Inside the AHSAA Weekly, brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores each and every week, our corporate partner here on the AHSAA Radio Network. I'm Brett Pritchard, I'm your host this week, and we've got another exciting show for you. Obviously, we have started high school football here in the state of Alabama. Last week was week 0 officially, and we'll have some really good guests on here shortly to talk about week 0. And for all of you out there that might not know what week 0 is, that is the optional week the AHSAA built in a couple of years ago where teams have an option of playing a jamboree style game or actually playing a regular season game in the first week of the season. So a lot of games went on last week. Most every high school football team was in action, whether it was a jamboree style game or a regular season game. So we'll talk a lot about that as the season progresses, because some of these teams will have a week off later on in the season. Others will not that played that jamboree. They'll play 10 straight weeks before they head into the playoffs. On tap today, we've got some great guests. First up, we'll have Jerry Young with the NFHS Network and Play On Sports to talk about some of the games that those guys on the network will be covering and how that network works throughout the state of Alabama here. And we'll also have a very good friend of the show, Josh Bean, who is on our scoreboard show each and every Friday night to give you updates and recaps from throughout the state of Alabama. He works with AL.com and does a tremendous job. You don't want to miss that. So we'll go ahead and take our first break here on Inside the AHSAA Weekly. When we come back, we'll have Jerry Young on with us from Play On Sports in the NFHS Network. Stay tuned. More of Inside the AHSAA Weekly coming your way right after this.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
No, wrong! Bring it in, guys! Take a knee! Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola going to give real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes a snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero Cola.
Take a lap! Coke Zero! Real Coke taste! 0 calories!
Hunter Price is Coosa County's Alpha Insurance agent and has the knowledge to help you with all your auto, home, and life insurance needs. With Hunter and Alpha Insurance, you have a team of professionals to access your needs, save money, and give you the personal one-on-one service in your time of need. Visit our main branch in downtown Rockford or call us at 256-377-4955 for all your insurance needs.
Call Alpha. We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world, where families discover nurses and doctors as excellent as any in the state, and the embrace of world-class care is as close to home as a trip to the grocery store, where the continuity of care isn't lost in exhausting miles of road, but just down the street. We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the AHSAA Weekly. I'm your host, Brett Pritchard. At this time, I want to go to the phone lines and welcome in our first guest this afternoon, a good friend of the show, a good friend of ours here on all of our programming, Mr. Jerry Young with the NFHS Network and Play On Sports. Jerry, thanks so much for being on the program.
Hey, thanks, Brett. It's great to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man, it's high school football time, and I know that gets everybody geeked up in the state. Last week actually started everything. It's officially called Week 0, but there were a lot of real games that were played. I know there were a lot of jamboree games that were played. I got a chance to see you briefly down at the Champions Challenge in Montgomery, and so it's just an exciting time of year for all of us.
Well, it is, Brett. You know, the Champions Challenge is probably the best way in the nation to kick off high school football. The AHSAA and, of course, Coach Sabarese and all of the guys there, they do a great job of getting it started. And really and truly, the best venue, I think, for a high school game is Crampton Bowl in Montgomery with all the remodeling and what they've done there. It's just a great place to be, and it's comfortable for us to broadcast from there as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, imagine that stadium, just what it was 10 years ago to where it is now. I mean, we talk about it every time we go up there, Randy and myself and Luke and all of us, it went from a place that probably could have been condemned to maybe the nicest press box we visit anywhere. And it's just a phenomenal
Montgomery's
facility.
got the jewel when it comes to remodeling the stadium. I did a game down at Ladd Peoples in Mobile not long ago. You know, they did a pretty good investment. But it's been about 10 years ago now, but it's nice as well. So love to see something like that in Birmingham. I hope that Legion Field gets that way too. But right now, you got to give it to Crampton Bowl, and they are just a great place to visit and a great place for Champions Challenge.
No doubt about it. Two great games down there. I know the scores may not have reflected it, but on Thursday night, you had two really good teams, two good powerhouse teams in 1A and 2A, Maplesville versus Fife. Maplesville obviously getting the win, 20-7, a dominating performance. But there's a Fife team that's won a state championship 2 out of the last 3 years. Maplesville won 3 in a row. I mean, you couldn't have pitted any two teams together any better than that.
No, I don't think so. And Maplesville being 1A and, you know, beating the current state champion, reigning state champion Fife in 2A, got to be a big plus from them. But, you know, Brett, you and I both know we've covered Alabama high school football for years, and anytime the word Maplesville is mentioned, you stand up and take notice, because I don't know what they got in the water there in Chilton County, but I want to tell you what, buddy, they put together football teams, and they're exciting to watch. They just don't do the same thing over and over. These kids, some of them go both ways because it's 1A and 2A, but what a job they did, and congratulations to the 1A school for beating the 2A school. You know that's big for those kids.
Absolutely. Maplesville, I don't think they care what class you're in. They just go out there and go to work. And same with Fife. Both teams well coached. Both have a prominent history, and just two great teams to match up. The second game on Friday night, a little bit more of a disparity in the score. Hewitt-Trussville really showcased how loaded they are, Jerry, as they took on Pell City and a Keith Etheridge-led Pell City team. Keith Etheridge comes over from Leeds High School, had won 4 state championships there, and is going to a program that I think in Pell City that can get there with the type of talent and the type of numbers that they have. But Hewitt-Trussville right now sent notice to everybody in the state in 7A that they fell 1 point short in the quarterfinals last year in 7A playoffs to Gadsden City, but they're going to storm back to that point with a quarterback in Paul Tyson that is as good as I've ever watched, and then Miles Mason back there at running back, along with about 5 other running backs, Jerry, for Hewitt-Trussville that can get it done. This team's just loaded.
Well, they are, and they had Pell City 28-0 with 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. If that gives you an idea, of course, of just how strong they are. But you referenced the game last year when Gadsden City came in and beat Hewitt-Trussville. I happened to have called that game on the NFHS network, and as fate would have it, Brett, Gadsden City scored with about 2.5 minutes to go on a great pass play. That play and that call was voted #1 in the nation by the NFHS network just recently. So a big honor. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. But that play goes back to this year and moves forward to this year, because Josh Floyd is a determined, and he's got that team determined. And, you know, we talk about the 4 or 5 top teams right now in 7A. You got to look at Thompson. You got to look at Central Phoenix City. Of course, you got to look at Hoover. But, man, you said it right. Hewitt-Trussville set the tone for 7A right there. They are coming to play. They're well-coached, fantastic offense, excellent defense. I'm looking forward to see some of those teams I just mentioned match up in the future, maybe in the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, congratulations on that call, Jerry. I know you do a fine job out there when you're broadcasting these games. I want to talk a little bit about the NFHS network and what you guys do, because it's a unique deal that that allows people that can't make it to the games, they can buy a subscription and they can follow their favorite high school team, can't they?
Absolutely, and it's nationwide, worldwide for that. I did a game in Russellville. The Golden Tiger Network is on the air up there, and we had a father watching in from Afghanistan last year, and he actually texted us up in the booth. So it's a great thing, but it's also a heartwarming, and when you realize that a father over in Afghanistan can watch his son playing ball in Russellville, I mean, it's just not anything quite like it. But what we do is we train the students in the media class in high schools how to broadcast their own games, and for a small subscription fee, which you can sign up for the whole year for not much money. Each school makes a little money off of that, and then you can watch all the games. So I may be sitting at one game and I'm watching another one while I'm sitting at that game. So it's a great thing for parents, grandparents, relatives, friends from all across the country to be able to watch their child play ball, and not just in football, Brett, but in all sports if the school broadcasts them.
Yeah, truly unique, unbelievable what technology has been able to do and provide for people all over the world, and it just tremendous. It just continues to get more amazing every year that we go on. I know we got Scoreboard now that'll be giving real-time scores, so technology just taking over everything. Jerry, we're up against a break, my man. I could go on for about 20 more minutes, a lot of things going on. We'll have you on again down the line to talk about some more things we weren't able to get to today, but I appreciate you taking time out to be on the program this afternoon.
Thank you, Brett. Let me mention before we go, Game Day TV. You can watch us every week on the Alabama Cable Network. So if you'll tune in, Coach Max Howell and I doing that TV show, we'd love to have you. And like us on Facebook at Ask Game Day TV.
There you go. Jared, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon. That's Jerry Young with the NFHS Network and Play on Sports. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have Josh Bean on from AL.com to recap Week 0 here in the state of Alabama. You're listening and watching Inside the AHSAA Weekly.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood, sweat, and soul. A lot goes into team. But what we take away stays with us forever.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
More heart.
More drive. More will.
More guts.
More sweat.
More dedication.
More practice. More control.
More clutch.
More hard work.
More fun.
More family.
More love.
More basketball.
Baseball.
College tennis.
More every day.
More everything. More
to come.
More Wilson.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
Take a knee. Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola going to give real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes a snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero Cola.
Take a lap! Coke Zero. Real Coke taste. 0 calorie.
Where there's action, there's Encore. Professional.
responsive, dedicated. Encore Rehabilitation.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world, where families discover nurses and doctors as excellent as any in the state, and the embrace of world-class care is as close to home as a trip to the grocery store, where the continuity of care isn't lost in exhausting miles of road, but just down the street. We are Russell Medical, and this is our corner of the world.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the AHSAA Weekly. Again, Brett Pritchard here with you, and we want to go back to the phone lines, welcome in our second guest on this week's show from AL.com, a good friend of our show and a regular on our scoreboard show every Friday night, Josh Bean. Josh, thanks so much for being on the program this afternoon.
Always good to be with you.
Josh, it's the time of year a lot of people, most everybody in the state of Alabama looks forward to, and it's high school football and college football. We're going to concentrate on high school football, obviously, and it got kicked off last week with week 0. And I kind of explained to everybody in the intro of the show what week 0 means, and it kind of gives teams an opportunity to play a jamboree or play or have an off week later on in the season. But regardless, everybody pretty much was in action this past Thursday and Friday. Some really good games. I was down in Montgomery for the Champions Challenge. I know you covered games throughout the state of Alabama. I'll just start right there. What are your thoughts on that week 0 the AHSAA implemented a couple of years ago?
Well, I really like it. I mean, basically it gives schools an opportunity to play 10 games over 11 weeks, and they can figure out what works best with them, but for them. You know, some schools still prefer to play, I guess, a more traditional jamboree style game, which is basically a preseason game or an exhibition. Then they'll play 10 regular season games. Others want to go ahead and play a regular season game so that they get a bye week. Particularly, I think the bigger schools in 5A, 6A, 7A have really embraced that idea of having a bye week. You know, and some schools will play 5 and have an off week and then want to play 5 more. So I like it, and I think it does give coaches a little more flexibility in scheduling and to do what they think's best for their team. I like that part of it. Everybody's not forced into a cookie-cutter approach.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm with you. I think it gives everybody the option to do whatever, as you said, works for them maybe the best. I've heard coaches say, I didn't like not playing a jamboree game because I didn't feel like I was in game shape or my kids weren't in game shape for week 1. On the flip side, I've heard coaches say, I like to be able to take that break maybe in week 10, heading into playoffs. Gives us a little bit of chance to rest and kind of get the bumps and the bruises kind of cured before we go into a playoff run. So to each his own on that. I do agree with you. I like how that's been established. Well, Josh, let's talk about last week. Some big games out there. Some counted, some did not. Obviously, Hoover gets the season started off out of state again, playing a very tough team in Grayson over in Georgia. Last year, Hoover loses 2 games. Both of them were out of state. Really didn't have a challenge in state. They start off the same way this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they did not get off to a great start in that game. You know, they were down early, fought back, and really got themselves back into the game in the second half. You know, scored in the fourth quarter, and went for two, had a chance to tie the game at 28. That 2-point play did not succeed, so that's how they ended up with 26 points. But, I think new quarterback again this year for the Bucks. They ran the ball pretty well, particularly in the second half. So it wasn't all bad news, but yeah, that makes 3 losses in a row against out-of-state teams for Hoover. And then, of course, they'll play another out-of-state team. Their home opener this week at the Hoover Mets against Meridian, Mississippi.
Yeah, and Hoover, again, not a team that shies away from really tough competition. Again, a lot of schools do that and say that it makes them better, especially for a playoff run. There is a team in the state, though, Josh, that I was able to call on Friday night in 7A that may be up as a formidable challenge to Hoover this year in 7A football. There'll be several teams, but one that comes to mind that I got to see up close and personal was Hewitt-Trussville as they took on Pell City. Paul Tyson, Miles Mason, that team's loaded with talent. Really made it look easy on offense, a very stingy defense. What are your thoughts on Hewitt-Trussville?
Yeah, look, I think that the big question we all had over the summer was, how good can Paul Tyson be? He went to some college camps, got a lot of attention, looked really good in 7-on-7. So we had a lot of good indications that he was ready. And then we saw on Friday night, that's an offense since Josh Floyd's been there that's put up a lot of points, no matter who the quarterback has been. So he looked really comfortable. And you're right, he's surrounded with a bunch of weapons. Elliott McElwain at running back, he'll catch the ball some. Dazzle and Worsham. They got Pierce Quick on the offensive line. He's already committed to Alabama, only a junior. Then you mentioned Miles Mason, who transferred from Pleasant Grove at Trussville this summer. He carried the ball 3 times in that game. He's an elite prospect as a defensive back. So they've got a lot of weapons. And remember, this was a team that went 10-0 in the regular season last year. That's the first time Hewitt-Trussville's ever had a 10-0 regular season. So it's not like this would be a team coming out of nowhere. But yes, I think they feel like I know last year it seemed like they were really looking forward to the prospect of playing Hoover in the playoffs. Then they lost one game earlier than they would have played the Bucks. So I think the folks in Hewitt-Trussville really feel like they have a chance to win the whole thing this year.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, and unfortunately, Josh, we're out of time. We'll be catching up with you multiple times throughout the year. There's a lot more that I wanted to cover, but we're just getting started here with high school football. And again, we appreciate everything that you do, and always great to catch up with you and all the knowledge. And look forward to having you back on the program Friday night for the High School School Board Show.
Always appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Josh, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And that is Josh Bean with AL.com, and that's going to wrap it up. We'll come back. We'll have one more segment. We'll wrap it up here on Inside the AHSAA Weekly.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
No, wrong! Bring it in, guys. Take a knee. Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola going to give a real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes a snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero Cola.
Take a lap! Coke Zero. Real Coke taste. 0 calories.
June will mark 10 years of providing quality t-shirts, athletic uniforms, and promotional products for Lee Apparel. Our success is due in large part to the customers we serve in the Lake Martin community and the great state of Alabama. Our hopes are for many more years of success and growth. Contact Lee Apparel today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at leeapparel.com.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary.
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Where there's action, there's Encore. Professional. Responsive. Dedicated. Encore Rehabilitation.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood, sweat, and soul. A lot goes into team. But what we take away stays with us forever.
Hunter Price is Coosa County's Alpha Insurance agent and has the knowledge to help you with all your auto, home, and life insurance needs. With Hunter and Alpha Insurance, you have a team of professionals to access your needs, save money, and give you the personal one-on-one service in your time of need. Visit our main branch in downtown Rockford or call us at 256-377-4955 for all your insurance needs.
Call Alpha.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Inside the AHSAA Weekly. You can catch Inside the AHSAA Weekly right here on this station, wherever you might be listening throughout the state of Alabama or online, tuning us in throughout the world. We have listeners from all over the world that are able to tune us in each and every week. We'll give you the latest in high school sports throughout the state of Alabama. I want to thank our 2 guests again that were on today, on this afternoon. You have Jerry Young with the NFHS Network and Josh Bean with AL.com. And we want to remind everybody every Friday night on 20-plus affiliates throughout the state of Alabama and AHSAA.com, you can catch the comprehensive AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show every Friday night from 10 to midnight. You don't want to miss that. All the scores throughout the state of Alabama every single Friday night. That's going to wrap it up. I'm your host, Brett Pritchard. Tune us in next week for another edition of Inside the AHSAA.